السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله، صلى الله عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفناء مولاي، قد طيب بك التراب وعظم الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين ورحمة الله. Religion is nothing but love, born of taqwa, and Islam, the highest form of Islam. The word Islam by itself, from the verb aslama yuslimu. The verb aslama is to submit and to surrender to the will of Al-Khaliq, to the will of Allah. You submit, you surrender to the will of Allah. And part of this submitting and part of this surrendering, you do not argue. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need anyone. Nahnu al-fuqara, remember Him. And to think of Him. So you love in Allah and you His complete iman, and that is higher form of it. Libhu sabhan. You rear him with adab. You tell him he's 14. The next 7 years, you befriend him. According to Imam Ali. Rafiqhu sab'an. Rafiqhu, be his friend. Go with him. Go see events with him. Take trips with him. Converse with him. See what he says. And listen to his opinion. Listen to what he's thinking of. And understand that his generation is different than yours. So you cannot impose your social habits during your generations on your kids. I'm not saying this Al-Imam Ali alayhi salam. لا تضغطوا أو لا تجبروا أولادكم على عاداتكم فإنهم خلقوا لجيل غير جيلكم. Do not impose your habits on your kids because they were born to a generation different than yours. But you taught them al-halal, you taught them al-haram, you befriended with them. And then Ar-Rasul said, and then leave him be. After 21, leave him. What does leave him mean? He's not a kid anymore. Some of us, our kid become 22, 24, 25, we look at him as a big child. I mean, we want to force him and we don't do it. No, you already taught him. Let him experience and let him go through the trial and error and let him learn the responsibility. Muslims al-halal wal-haram. Abu Fadl al-Abbas in Karbala, from day one, he was the second of command. He played a pivotal role, an important role. So when this diplomatic effort from Shimr ibn al-Jawshan failed in order to rule, to lure, in order to separate Abu Fadl al-Abbas from Imam Hussein. These groups that were divided into different groups. One with the spears, one with the arrows, one with the stones, one with the poles. This pole, they brought it from the Roman military equipments. It was not known to the Arabians. It's a special pole that's used in the battle. If it's hit on the head, most likely it will be one hit. So, Al-Imam Abu Fadl al-Abbas was fighting back bravely until they pushed him close to the river. He made it to the river, and then he came to the water, and he was filling al-qurba, and he put it on his katif, over his shoulder, and they pushed him where there is a mud. Right next to the river there is a land that is wet, and it's bay mud. So the horse lost the ability to move and to maneuver. And then they would fight him face to face, and they had no chance until they pushed him to the farmland where there are trees, and they hid behind the trees. And while he was coming back with the water, they hit his hand and they cut his palm. And the sword fell. And he picked up his sword and he got it in his left hand, and he fought bravely until they came from his back and they cut his left hand. And then he took the qurba with his teeth. Why? He wants to complete the mission with all the power that he has. With every ability left in him, he remembers his mission is to what? To bring the water to the woman and to the children. And he would move. While he was moving, a man came from his back and hit him with the pole on his head, and he fell from his horse to the ground. And when he fell, he raised his voice and he says, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقي الليل والنهار. And Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam heard the voice without his faris, and he went as fast as the hawk and attacked the man. And he came while he was running. Al-Imam was shocked to see. They say he stopped, he dismounted from the horse. He picked something from the ground. He picked something from the ground. He rode the horse again. He stopped somewhere else. He picked up another something from the ground. It turned to be, these are the hands of Abu Fadl al-Abbas Ridwanullahi alayhi. And he came to them and he looked at him. Where is your beauty, ya Abu Fadl al-Abbas? What happened to your hands, ya Abu Fadl? His eyes disappeared. The arrow in one of his eyes. The blood covered his face. His head was hit severely. Hundreds of hits and wounds in his body. And he has a touch of life, and he looked at his brother and he said to him, Akhi wa Sayyidi wa Mawlai. Do this to my sister Zainab. Don't take me to Al-Mukhayyam, leave me here. I don't want her to see me like that. And then Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam hugged him and he kissed him and he said, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-Ali al-Azim. And Abu Fadl al-Abbas was buried where he was martyred, and they found out later, hundreds of years ago, during the Marja'iyah of Sayyid Muhsin al-Amin, when they went into where the grave is, and Al-Marja noticed that the size of the grave is so small, and one of his ulama said, Sayyidi, since Abu Fadl al-Abbas was tall and huge, why his grave is that small? Muhsin al-Amin wept and cried, and he said they did not only cut his hand, but they also severed his legs from his body. And when Al-Imam Zainul Abidin buried him, he put his leg on his body. This is why the grave is so small. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك يا الله بكفي أبا فضل العباس، أسألك يا الله بدم الشهيد المظلوم في كربلاء، يا أرحم الراحمين، يا أسمع السامعين، يا أبصر الناظرين، يا أسرع الحاسبين.